What does your name mean? Is it Palani, Fani, Kiran? Is it with three names?
Yes, sir.
Why?
So my parents were very religious people, sir.
Okay.
So they named their sons and daughters after different gods and goddesses.
Okay.
So my brothers were named Balaji, Manikanta. So I was named as Palani after Lord Subramanya Swami of Tamil Nadu, sir.
Okay. And Fani?
They also felt that Palani would be too traditional in school and all.
And why Kiran?
So the Fani and Kiran was added to give that modern outlook to the names.
Okay. Have you heard of Palani Swami by any chance?
The Edippadi Palani Swami, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, sir.
You have not heard of Palani Swami, a saint.
Beg your pardon,
Palani
sir?
Swami, a saint.
No, sir. I haven't heard about it, sir.
Okay. Can you name one saint from Kerala who was associated with caste reform?
Caste reform. Sri Narayana Guru, sir.
What do you know about him?
Sir, not much, sir. I don't know anything about him, sir.
No idea.
I've heard about him, but I don't know much
No
details
idea.
about, sir.
Okay. So, you took history as your optional.
Yes, sir.
Why? You did BTech from Goa, BITS Pilani.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why did you choose history?
Sir, history as a subject was always interesting to me since school days, sir. So when I started my preparation for UPSC, I considered factors like the scoringness of the subject and also my personal interest to continue preparation over a sustained period of time. Also the availability of coaching material and these
But
things.
you are not able to score much, I think, because you have made many attempts.
Yes, sir. I won't call history as the lone culprit for it, sir. I was scoring less in general studies also. But history has actually also helped me in prelims, essay paper, ethics.
Which part of history did you like most?
The world history, sir.
World history.
Sir.
Wow. Okay. Which events of world history? No, tell me, or I'll put differently. Tell me, what is it that we have to learn from 20th century world history? What is it that the 21st has to learn from 20th? Give three important lessons.
So can I take a minute?
Please,
sir?
take time.
Yes, sir. Firstly, from the 20th century, two great world wars, the lesson to be learned is instead of competition, cooperation between nations, economically as well as in political fields, that would create long-term peace and sustainability of the development, sir. Instead of fighting wars over economic resources or political grandeur and ending up into great wars, that would be the lesson for 21st century, that where Asian countries, instead of competing neck to neck and entering into conflicts, could cooperate to grow together, sir. That would be my first lesson from 20th century, sir.
Wow, very good.
And
Okay, your second lesson.
second lesson, ideologies different. It is important to respect different ideologies. From the Cold War incidents, just because of the ideological differences between the two blocs, there were many proxy wars which led to large scale loss of lives in Vietnam, Afghanistan, these areas. So the lesson we could learn is there should be tolerance to different ideologies. Each nation should be allowed to decide its own course of development, sir.
Wow, very good. Next, third lesson.
Sir, third lesson is the lesson of the nuclear bomb, sir. We have seen the devastating effects of the nuclear bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So that is the most important lesson, sir. No matter what the circumstances, we should never go for the nuclear option, sir. Because once there is nuclear war, then given the current capacity of nuclear bombs, the entire world would turn into a desert. Sir.
Very interesting. But tell me, how far are we learning these lessons?
Yes, sir. I mean, slowly because of competing interests of the rising powers in Asia, we seem to be headed in that path of competition again between the countries like China, USA, and India. But ultimately, I think wisdom will prevail among them to not lead it into a great war like World War that happened, sir.
Okay, world wars may not happen now.
Sir.
World wars won't happen simply because there are nuclear weapons now.
Sir.
But maybe there can be different kind of crisis. You know, somebody said that, it is Mark Twain who said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
Beg your pardon, sir?
History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
Rhymes.
Rhymes. What does it mean?
That there could be a similarity of incidents.
Okay.
Does it
Okay.
mean that? I'm not sure exactly what he meant, but he or she meant. But I think rhyming means the words which sound similar or end in a similar
Yes,
manner.
sounding similar.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
maybe not exactly a political war.
So tell me how 21st century may be similar to 20th century and then get into destructive mode, but may not be exactly through world wars.
Sir, I look at it maybe in terms of economic warfare, like sanctions, and through cyber warfare, these and space warfare. These
But
may
you are
be,
only thinking of wars, but already there is a huge war being launched against nature, and nature is more likely to win. What is that war?
the war against climate change, sir.
War against climate change or climate change?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you think is the likely outcome, and how do you rate our success against warming?
Sir, I mean, only the Indian scenario.
I'm
or
talking about the world. We are not talking about India.
Sir, about the world, it is unfortunate that the current levels of progress when it comes to mitigation and adaptation measures is not up to the mark to reach the target.
So what is the likely scenario?
Sir, experts foresee a war for the sake of water, basic necessities like food, water, which could end up becoming a potential conflict.
Do you have any idea how much of rise is expected by 2100? Did you study?
A temperature rise, sir. Sir, if no measures were taken till now, it is expected to reach 3.5 degrees centigrade above the industrial level, sir. But if the current levels of measures are reached, I mean, the current measures are being, whatever intended nationally determined contributions are being followed under Paris deal, the 2 degree centigrade target that the countries have set, it could be reached as early as 2050, sir. So
which one? 2C will be reached by
2050, sir. If only the current at the current pace, we need more aggressive cutting down of our emissions, sir, to reach that 2 degree centigrade goal by 2100, sir.
You mean otherwise by 2050 we will reach 2C?
Around 2050, around 2060. I'm not exactly sure about the years.
But isn't it worse than both the world wars combined?
Yes, sir, it is definitely worse. Environmental crisis, it strikes at the very existence of our life, no matter which country we live in, sir. So it is even more dangerous problem, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, what should be India's role in this?
Sir, as a developing nation with a huge population that is below poverty line and as well as on the edge of the poverty line, India has to maintain a balance between its developmental needs as well as its responsibility for future generations, sir. So,
But we are seeing that there is not going to be future.
yes, sir. But its sustainability is all about meeting the current generation's needs as well as future generations' needs, sir. So, just because to protect the future
You mean to
generations,
say coal is the need of the current generation?
yes, sir. Given,
Now tell me, you say nations should cooperate.
sir.
Okay. So, is India doing to cooperate with other nations?
In any sector that you,
Whatever the sector you choose. You say world crisis. What is India learning from 20th century?
sir, it is definitely playing a proactive role in climate change negotiations, sir, and also on the World Trade Organization forum also. It tried to bring in the interests of the developing and least developed countries onto the main stage under the Doha Development Agenda, sir. And
Okay.
in terms of security also.
Tell me, what is the historical significance of Krishna district?
Sir, Krishna district, based on archaeological evidences like at Moghalrajpuram caves and on the other side of river Krishna, Undavalli caves, has a history of more than 2000 years, sir. The Shatavahana dynasty had its capital, second capital at Amaravati, which was just on the opposite banks of Krishna district. And post that,
Why is Amaravati capital named Amaravati? Is it there at Amaravati?
sir, there are multiple factors that they considered for naming Amaravati as
Okay,
the
like
capital.
what are?
That it would re-establish the glorious Amaravati that was the capital of Shatavahanas, and also it would kind of be at a central location to all the other, to all the corners of the state. Amaravati being at a central location on the banks of river Krishna was considered an ideal location.
Okay. What did you learn from your college?
Sir, I've learned to first, that was the first time I went and stayed by my own, sir.
Okay.
So it taught me independence and discipline to manage my things all by myself and then focus on education and also co-curricular and extracurricular activities and how to manage all these things, sir. And I was able to get good marks as well as also learn many things like communication skills, how to talk with people. These skills I have acquired during college itself, sir.
Why you didn't have them before?
Sir, I had, but it was not up to the mark, sir.
Okay.
To qualify for a good job, I required good communication skills, sir.
Okay. Now, few questions on India.
Sir,
What do you think is the most serious economic problem India is facing?
the obsolescence of skills, sir. The skills, the current set of skills that people have, they're rapidly getting obsolete, sir.
Like
And,
how?
Sir, India has seen the IT sector boom mainly because of its highly educated and English-speaking tertiary, the higher educated sector, sir. But with the coming up of artificial intelligence, big data analytics, these new skills are going to rule the roost in future, sir. And we seem to be.
So tell me, for example, if you are asked to identify which is a more serious problem between agricultural crisis and this kind of skills, lack of skills, which do you think is a more serious problem?
Sir, if we have a future perspective about what we are going to achieve in the coming 10 to 15 years in mind, then I would say the lack of skills is the main issue, sir. But currently, in the current scenario, if you ask me, then agricultural crisis is also a major issue, sir. Because
you mean after 10-15 years, agricultural crisis won't be there, and this lack of skills will be a problem?
Yes, sir, I really hope there won't be any agricultural crisis in 15 years from now, sir. If we take if we take constructive steps right now, I really hope there won't be any agricultural issues 10-15 years down the line, sir.
Okay. What would be the most important? Can you list some things that should be done to salvage agriculture?
Sir, currently in India, agriculture is employing around 50% of the workforce, sir. And while it
I'm
is
asking you the steps
is to make the farmers into agripreneurs, sir. That could be the only way out, because we should look at agriculture as an enterprise, as a profitable enterprise, sir.
You mean to say agriculture is not profitable because they don't have entrepreneurial skills?
Not at all, sir. I'm not saying that, sir.
Then why should they be entrepreneurs?
Sir, entrepreneurship is also about getting a good idea to be implemented in a way that it gives you profits, sir.
Okay. What ideas do you think that they lack now? Let's suppose you are an advisor that you would give to them.
Sir, currently the size of the land holding is very small, sir. So it doesn't allow them to innovate on new methods.
So you want them to buy more land?
No, sir. They can enter into a cooperative model, or they can form these farmer producer organizations, so that they achieve these economies of scale. And also this can be linked to market.
But the big farmers also are not making money. How can cooperative farming will bring money?
Yes, sir. I think the problem with big farmers is either they lease it to multiple tenants their land, or they don't look to agriculture as a
Do you have any experience with any village?
Yes, sir. I am from a village.
You are from village?
Yes, sir.
So, what did you learn from your village? What kind of village you are from, and how do you want to see it improved?
Sir, my village personally, it's a rice cultivating district village, sir.
Okay.
Fortunately, because of being situated on the national highway, it had good connectivity to Vijayawada, sir. It was a major city. But if you ask me, most of the villages...
But is rice cultivation itself good for Andhra Pradesh?
Sir,
isn't it excessive rice is being consumed and produced?
Sir, entire Andhra Pradesh state, sir. Sir, it should be cultivated only in areas where it is feasible, sir. It should not be cultivated through excessive irrigated groundwater extraction or those kind of measures, sir.
Your village doesn't have those problems?
Yes, sir. It is on the banks of River Krishna, so it had good water connectivity, sir. So,
what did you think about shifting capitals to Vizag?
Sir, on the face of it, in a parliamentary democracy,
I'm asking you.
Sir, having legislature and executive at a different place could pose very practical challenges for the officers as well as the ministers when the assembly is in session, sir. But the current government is saying that it is to decentralize the power, but I am not sure how this could be worked out in practical manner. We have to wait and see how they will manage this, sir. But if they are flexible enough, if the experiment doesn't work out, and if they reshift the capital, then it's a good thing, sir.
Fine, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
tell me, are you happy with your performance? Hmm. Prem, you have anything to say? Hmm. 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 See, the way you handled world history is very, very good. It's outstanding. Anybody would be surprised. But the way you answered India-related questions is just very, very average or mediocre. I don't know if you may be thinking you should play safe, but then you should generate interest in you. You are not even generating that interest. You say all the nations should contribute, and when I asked about India, then Jai Bharat Mata. You need not criticize the present Prime Minister, but you can be critical of the policy. Climate policy is not a product of this present Prime Minister. It has been going on. It's like Narendra Modi's speech. But the whole world is a family, he will say like this, but doesn't neurotic thing. Boldness comes when you think in terms of what you should do, what your country should do, not what somebody else should do. India is responsible in climate change, India is cooperating. I mean, you can say, and then you will get some marks. India is contributing to the emissions. A completely radical agenda is needed. What prevents you from saying that? Please think about it. These answers, you may think you are not being critical because you don't want to support the government, you don't want to be critical of the government, but I don't think it is like that. Your answers don't generate interest. generate interest. You could have answered, India is not doing its role. What prevents you from saying it? India's contribution is wrong. Its targets are not enough. India is contributing to the destruction of the world. India should do. What prevents you from saying it? You first generate interest and then say how you can proceed later. You talk about how the world nation should contribute and then say India is doing its bit. What kind of it? Answer is it? Regarding agriculture, I can see you are not familiar with it. So your approach is different. See, there are two variables. What is your approach and what is your knowledge system? Regarding agriculture, you are not really knowledgeable. So that is different. But regarding climate, your frequency is that I shouldn't criticize the government. I shouldn't criticize India, not even the government. So I lost hope in those answers. Then I asked other questions. So, I don't know what to suggest. I mean, what I can say is that they may not ask you good questions, and so you may be missed. That is number one. Though you have potential, that is one possibility. In which case, you may get 140, something like that, 150, 150 plus. That's one possibility. And another possibility is that you answer well to some questions, but to other questions you disappoint them. That is another possibility. But you will not get any particularly poor score because the way you answer is good. You don't have to change anything. The way you answer, measured, clear, articulate. It is about your strategy. I prefer a bold approach. But given the kind of present government, I would say don't be overly critical regarding these few individuals and regarding few policies. That's all. You don't provoke them. That is the only modification I am going to make for this year. But then, if you don't criticize India at all, if you are not critical, it doesn't make a good interview. Okay. That's what I felt. But you can try with the other boards also. No, I believe under certain circumstances you can get very high score. I do not exactly know what those circumstances are. You have the capacity. Sometimes you may not be answering because you do not exactly know what is critical or in-depth approach to that particular area, for example, agriculture. But if you know, you have the intelligence. There is absolutely no doubt about it. You have the intelligence to think, analyze, apply, understand. All those things are there. It is a matter of knowledge. Plus, in the context of interview, it is a matter of your approach. Knowledge cannot be done. We can't do much about it. When is your interview? Okay, you have enough time. On all crucial issues, you have a deep study, be it agriculture. Whatever you are willing to talk about, what do you think is the most serious economic problem, most serious political problem? Okay. See what kind of broader questions are possible from your own answers. Then make a deep study and what can be a critical answer that generates interest. My approach is very, very bold. But given the times we are in, we are not going to particularly isolate few individuals and criticize. That's all. That we are not going to do. Other than that, I prefer a bold approach that generates interest in your answers. So you answered on world history very well. Anybody will be shocked. So logical, so coherent. You understand everything. When I asked about India, so improve your knowledge system, number one, and prefer bolder approach that generates interest. And remember, once you generate interest, you can moderate your stand, but first generate interest. You can always say, yes, I haven't thought like this, I would like to change. First generate interest. Let them think that they are talking to a human being, not a machine well coached by institutes. Okay. So knowledge plus approach. But if you are convinced that your approach can be bold, then you look at your knowledge system. In which area, what kind of answer I can give that generates interest. Don't give a critical answer in an area you don't want discussion. Give a good answer in an area you want a discussion. You provoke when you want the discussion. You can't provoke and then say. That is true, but you don't have to be a strong area. That's world history. No, even about the cooperation also it was, you said India is doing. You couldn't think of cooperation. How are we cooperating with Pakistan? It's not about environment. And you yourself said that even if we go by all these national targets, we will reach around 3 by 2050. That is enough data. What more data do you need to know? That's self-destructive. And then you say we are going a balanced approach. What kind of answer is that? Is it? So it is about conservatism. It is not about lack of knowledge. You suddenly wanted to defend. Okay, but retain the approach. Retain the approach. Poise, thinking, everything is fine. It is about attitude. That's fine. I thought you were going to say something else, but you said it. Sometimes come directly and after that go for elaboration. Come directly. What do you think is? You can say, I don't think it's a good idea because go like that. I thought you were going for an elaborate introduction, so I had to intervene. But you are answering relevantly. but you answer it first. Give direct answer first and then go for elaboration. Direct first. So let the member know this is the answer. Elaboration. In that approach, even if you are cut short, you will have the satisfaction of answering it. If you go for elaborate introduction, you may not be allowed to complete your answer. Then you will think, no, I didn't give my view. Give your view first. Complete it. Then after that, next.